Hello, my name is Wesley Guerra, and this is my presentation for my Where's My Car app idea for CSE 335. And yeah, let's get started. So the premise of my app is basically it all started with actually the idea all started about senior year of high school, and it was my graduation. My mom, she got lost in the graduation parking lot because she couldn't find her car, and we eventually found the car, and she just said, like, man, wouldn't it be cool if we had an app that basically, found a way to lead me back to my car. And so that idea has been in my mind for quite a long time now, and so I decided, this would be a great opportunity to actually implement an idea that I initially had and create something that would be very useful. And this app, it utilizes GPS services, and it's able to keep track of where you left your car, and will be able to guide you back to your car. So that's basically the premise of this app. So let's get a little bit into the design of the app. This is the very first screen that you'll see when you open the app. You'll see Where's My Car and two buttons, Recently Visited and Mark Location. And yeah, so first you're going to want to click Mark Location, because Recently Visited will be empty if you click that. So you're going to click Mark Location. This will be the next screen that pops up. With this, initially you'll have these buttons won't be here. It'll say like input name and description, and then press save. So first you're going to want to press you're going to want to input the name and description, and after that you press save, and then these two buttons will pop up. And all you have to do is just click on Mark Location, and a pin will appear on the map and of where you're located currently. And then if you want to add a landmark of the location that you're at, all you do is click add landmark, and then you'll have the option to choose either a camera or a picture from your library to save for that location. And once you're done with that, you just simply press back, and you'll be taken back to the main view. And then once you're ready to go back to that current location, or that marked location, you click on Recently Visited. Once you're at Recently Visited, all you really have to do, this is just a table view, and it just has a unlimited amount of recently visited. You can have as many as you want, but for this example I only chose one, of course. But basically you just click on it and it takes you to a detail view, and when you're done with when you no longer need that location, all you have to do is just swipe left and it'll delete it. So you're going to click on it and it'll take you to the detail view. Right here is what it looks like, and you'll see that with the example, it says ASU parking lot, second floor, and here's a map and two buttons, Find My Car and Search. When you're ready to find your car, all you do is just click on Find My Car, and you'll have two pins on the map, and one saying your previous location and the other saying your current location. Previous location being where you initially marked your car location, and your current location just takes your current location and puts it on the map. And that's that. And when you want to, I also added another functionality for web API searches. So I utilize Google Places API to get the latitude and longitude values of any given location. So for this example, I chose the Cardinal Stadium. So this is where I live in a dormitory at ASU, and it draws a line from this location to the new location. Now, for the Find My Car button, I also had the ability to draw a line in between these 2 points, but I had the ability to draw lines between these 2 points, but because of how the map kit works, the line won't be connected between these 2 points, and it only goes to the nearest road. So that is the only thing that I would need to continue working on if I were to continue developing this app. But the pins are still shown, which is still useful in finding your car. Now here's the class diagram for my app, and I'll start from the top and head down. So this is the initial view when you first start opening the app. It has a view to load function as well as two other functions that are unwind functions for the two other views. So I'm going to first start with mark location. So you're going to click on mark location button, and then that's what this association line is for. And in mark location view controller, I have a manager that is a CL location manager, a city model an object that has a relationship, so it's aggregation, and as well as some latitude and longitude variables, and various bar button items and labels and buttons, text fields, maps and image views as well. Now, as for the functions of mark location view, I have a keyboard will change function that's basically whenever the user taps on a text field, the screen will scroll up to account for the keyboard, so nothing's obstructed from the view. And then when the user is done typing, all you have to do, that's what this function's for, touches began. That just you touch outside of the keyboard, and the keyboard will go out of view. And the add landmark button function right here, that's for when you want to add the picture from the camera or from the library, and it saves that picture to core data. Save data right here is just saves the name and location, name and description into core data, and then is location service enabled is a Boolean function. It just returns true if location services are enabled and false if it isn't. Location manager, this function right here, basically saves the current location, longitude, and latitude values into these variables, and then these variables are used to mark location whenever, like mark location onto the map, and when that happens, that location gets saved into core data. Alright, and then now I guess I'll talk about the city model. City model has an NS manage object context, so you could communicate with core data, and then have a array of location entities, which is it's also an aggregation relationship because city model has a location. So I guess I'll start with location. Location entity contains 5 different variables. The first being name, description, image, longitude, and latitude. And yeah, these variables are all being utilized throughout the app. And yeah. All right. And as for the functions of city model, fetch record is used to populate the amount of rows for the table view, which is used in recently visited view controller. Add city is used to add the name and description into core data from the mark location view controller. Remove city is used when you swipe left on the table view. It'll remove that particular location from core data. And then get city object, get last city object, both return location, and save data will just save the data into core data. Now moving on to recently visited controller. This is just a table view, pretty much a table view controller, and like I said, it has a city model and a table view, and then various table view delegate and data source methods. So that's what all these are for, as well as a prepare method for the detail view controller, and then an unwind method, so you can unwind from detail view to recently visited controller, or recently visited view controller. Detail view controller has various amounts of string variables and double variables. Just to those variables are utilized in the prepare method, or function. and as well as some other like place marks and current route, MK route, which is utilized when displaying a route on the map. And it also utilizes a CL location manager to get the current location of the user. Just like in Mark Location View Controller, it has a location manager where it retrieves the user's current location and adds it to longitude 1 and latitude 1. And then when you're ready to find your car, you just press Find My Car button, and it'll do the function and display the 2 pins on the map and a direction between those 2 pins. And when you're ready to search for anything using API, that's what this function does. It does JSON processing in that function as well. And then I had a delegate method, map view renderer, which basically renders the line that the blue line that is drawn onto the map. So yeah, that is the class diagram. Here's my MVC architecture diagram, and I'll start with the view. So the view just reacts to user input. It displays labels, text fields, and buttons. Basically, everything that you see on the view is, everything that you see in the app is associated with the view. The table view and the map and all that stuff. The controller has all the necessary functions. The data source function, delegate functions, prepare for segue, unwind. The controller retrieves current location, and then it sends all the user's information such as name, description, latitude, longitude, and the picture into core data. It also calls web APIs and handles user interactions and fetches meaningful data. As for the model/core data storage is for the location name and description, location, latitude, and longitude, picture of location, provides data persistency for the table view, and interacts with Google's APIs to get data for the user. And how all these the view interacts with the controller can be shown by where the user taps on the buttons or on the text fields, or even in the table view cells to show the detailed view. How the controller interacts with the view is that it updates the map view, updates the table view. Just basically everything that is updated is the controller's job. And then how the controller interacts with the model. It adds location data to core data, such as name, description, latitude, longitude, and images. And then how the model interacts with the controller, it retrieves the data from core data to populate the table view, as well as populate the specific detail view for that table view cell. So yep, that's the MVC architecture. I only utilized one model, so that is why I only have 3 cells like this. So capabilities and limitations of the project. So with this project, I really wanted to challenge myself to develop an idea that I initially had from way back when into something that is pretty useful. I actually wanted to develop something that anyone could use, and I feel I accomplished that with this app. I showed a lot of family and friends this app, and many of them were impressed and even asked if it was on the app market already. So they're very eager to download this app for themselves. It does its job very well. The app is able to find any previous location really well, and I feel the app is very user friendly. The only limitation, as I mentioned earlier, is that it doesn't really draw the line in between 2 pins if those 2 pins aren't already on a road. So for instance, if I'm in a building and I try to find the previous location in that building, it'll draw the line outside of the building onto the nearest road, and whereas you that wouldn't really make sense. You'd want the line between the 2 pins. So the direction line is only bound to the roads, it seems. So I'm gonna have to continue working on a solution for that. And then another limitation is that for the search function, Whenever the user searches for something, they have to be very specific. So if they misspell something, or even if they aren't specific enough, the Google Places API won't be able to find that location, and therefore it won't be displayed on the map. So that is another limitation of the app. But other than that, though, the app is pretty user-friendly, and there aren't really any issues with it. And then finally, lessons learned. I learned how to adapt an idea and to incorporate all the needs of the user, as well as meet all requirements. So, like I said earlier, this idea came from a while back, and it's just being able to put an idea, put it to a program, and seeing the end product, is a very valuable lesson. Also, the use of APIs. So prior to this class, and I learned a lot through this project about APIs, but prior to all that, I never used APIs before, and so just seeing how useful and how many different ways you can use APIs in the real world is just it's just a very useful thing to know. So I'm glad that I was exposed to it for this project. And then, of course, how to properly use the MVC architecture to design an app is a very important concept to know, especially when it comes to mobile development. For improvements to the class last project, I'd say just having some labs utilize cloud services such as Firebase would be pretty beneficial. I was really interested in that during the lectures, and just getting the opportunity to maybe just apply that into a lab or something would have been pretty helpful. And then also I had a lot of fun with a Sprite Kit lab, the very last lab of the class, where we made a little game. I feel maybe possibly doing more with like gaming would be pretty fun and beneficial as well. So, but other than that, I learned a lot through this class, and very, very happy with the end outcome, and I'm glad that I did take it. So that is my presentation. Thank you for your time.